So in this video, we're going to be going over more real-world production tests with the Canon EOS R5. We're also going to talk about the overheating issues that we encountered on set. Now, if you guys have not seen the very first video that we published a couple of days ago, I highly encourage to watch that first and then come back and watch this one. Now, in the courtroom scene, I asked you guys if you can identify what was filmed in 8K and what was filmed in 4K. Now, if you guessed Colonel Jessup, aka Jack Nicholson, all of that was filmed in 8K, whereas the scenes with Kathy, aka Tom Cruise, those were filmed in 4K all-eye. And here's a little fun fact, all of the behind the scenes footage that you're watching in this video and also the previous one, we used the Canon EOS R6. Now for this next scene, we wanted to switch it up a bit and use Canon lenses. The first one was the 15-35 RF lens, just because it's a native mount, and then we used a prime lens, which is the 85 CNE from Canon, and everything was recorded using 4K all-eye. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll that clip.
You know why you are here? You're good. You have so much potential.
Then what are we doing? Am I getting an award or something?
No, not an award. But that's the frustrating part, because if you wanted to, you could easily have all the awards.
What do I need an award for?
Looks pretty good on an application. You do know you could go to any graduate school in the world, right?
What can I say? 1 in a million. Can I get out of here now?
No, not just yet. Because this, right here, I have never seen anything like this. The kind of work that you can do. So if this is about money, then just say so, because with what you have, the money won't be an issue.
Do they give me the money up front?
You are going to have institutions throwing money at you. You have no idea the opportunities that are going to open up the access to the brightest individuals any of us have ever known. You will connect with and share your ideas with intellectuals that most men on their best days can't even hold a candle to. What are you doing? Where are you going?
I don't want to be around people like that.
Why? This is what you've worked so hard for.
This wasn't hard.
Exactly. You know you might be one of the few people on the face of the earth that can say that?
You know what is hard? Looking in the mirror and holding your head up. Because you hung around when everyone else tells you if they were in your position, they would have taken off. It's a nice class. I won't be back.
Now, before we jump into the next scene, I do want to thank today's video sponsor, which is Condor Blue. We use Condor Blue accessories in all of our production shoots, and they are filmmakers like we are, so they understand exactly what we need to help improve our workflow. So I've had the opportunity to experience the prototype cage that was built for the Canon EOS R5 from Condor Blue, and I gotta tell you guys, it pairs very nicely with the quick release rosette handles that I've actually been using now for over a year. This is easily one of the most useful accessories for handheld and shoulder mounted setups. It has saved me a ton of time, and the flexibility is amazing when you're on set. In fact, these arms and grips are actually being used by Hollywood cinematographers and ASC members today. These extendable arms actually support any size rig, and here's one of my favorite parts. These rosette arms, you can adjust them any direction. Look how cool this is. if you guys head on over to condorblue.com and you use coupon code ArmandoGrips, you guys will get $50 off the Rosette Arm Bundle. And by the way, all of Condor Blue products are backed by a lifetime warranty, which I think is fantastic. So make sure to check out the link down below so you guys don't miss out on that deal. So for this next scene, we wanted to test out the low light capabilities of the EOS R5. Also, we went up to an attic that had temperatures of over 100 degrees, and we did experience overheating issues filming in 8K when we were downstairs, but because we wanted to test out the 4K all-eye in extreme conditions, this was a perfect place to test that out. Now, we also went back to using the master build lenses because we wanted that beautiful vintage look. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll that clip.
You ready?
We're here. You okay?
I'm good.
Oh, I think I found the light. What are you doing?
I think I broke something.
What?
All of it.
Get up. We don't have much time. This is it. No, stop. You're not really into it.
I am so into it.
No one robbing a house is just going to stop and start making out in the middle of it.
I thought that was the whole point.
Yeah, but you gotta like feel it and sell it.
You're gonna give me what I can't. What?
No. You already messed it up and I'm not in the zone. I'm just gonna go to bed. Again.
Let's play burglar. It'll be hot. Jeez.
I really think it's fair to say that the image quality coming from the EOS R5 in 8K and in 4K looks beautiful. I really think that the low light capability from the scene that we filmed was also great. No complaints, considering that we only used a flashlight and one Edison bulb to light it. Additionally, I was impressed that I was easily able to color grade the RAW and all-eye files, considering they're both different C-logs. But let's talk about the biggest problem that we experienced using the Canon EOS R5 on set. And that's when you first power on the camera, the overheat timer starts counting down. And typically on a set, it takes anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes before you're actually recording your very first scene. And that was actually the case in our situation. By the time we were ready to roll our very first shot, the camera was telling us that we only had about 5 to 10 minutes of record time, and we never even hit the record button once. Frankly, the only reason why we ended up recording in 4K is because the camera overheated. We actually wanted to do the whole entire test in 8K, but because of that overheating issue, we were forced to use the highest available option, which was 4K all-eye. We couldn't even do 4K HQ, which was kind of a bummer. Now, we were expecting some overheating issues because the day before, Connor and I had ran some tests, so we came prepared and we brought some mini ice blocks and even a 5 horsepower leaf blower to try to cool the camera. And even in between takes, we would take out the battery and even the CF Express card to try to cool the inside. And just something to note, we also disabled IBIS, and because we were using PL lenses, there was no autofocus in place. But even with all that, I don't think that any of that helped because we were still experiencing really bad overheating problems. But one more thing, we actually broke for lunch for about an hour, and I went back to turn on the camera and I thought, for sure, I'm gonna get 20 minutes of 8K record time. But to my disappointment, we only got 10 minutes, which was actually very frustrating. Now, the reason that we experienced overheating much faster than normal is because we were using an HDMI output. Now, when you plug in an HDMI cable into the camera, you automatically get a notification telling you that overheat control has been disabled. This is actually a big problem because in a real world production like this, it basically becomes almost unusable. In fact, for a wedding filmmaker, think about this for a second. Let's say you are filming 30 to 45 minutes of the ceremony, and then you decide, oh, they're about to kiss. Let me switch the camera to 8K mode, or let's say 4K 120. Guess what? You can't, because the camera is already hot. This is a big problem. Now, the only mode that we did not experience any overheating issues was in 4K all-eye, even with the HDMI plugged in. It worked perfectly fine, including when we were recording in that 100-degree attic, so take that for what it's worth. I do believe that people that are pre-ordering this camera understand these record limitations and are okay with that, including myself. The problem is that in practice, that is not the case. You're not getting the advertised record limit that Canon is showing. Something that really has me puzzled is when the camera says it's overheated, I touch the camera, it's pretty much cool to the touch. I mean, I've used cameras that have overheated and they're pretty warm. I take out the battery, that's also pretty much cool to the touch. I take out the CF Express card, it's a little warm, but that's normal. Even the C500 Mark II and 1DX Mark III get pretty warm. So either Canon is being very conservative with the numbers or they're using time over temperature to get that reading. Now, I don't think all hope is lost with the R5. I do feel that Canon can implement a few changes to help mitigate some of these issues that we are experiencing with the R5. First being that you can enable overheat control whenever you plug in an HDMI cable. This could be something very easy as disabling the onboard display. Now, I know already you can do that, but the problem is that even if you disable the onboard display, overheat control is still disabled. Now, the second thing that they can do is offer additional internal or external codecs. For example, Blackmagic RAW. You've seen this on the Sigma FP camera, so it's definitely doable. Or, for example, if they're using an Atomos recorder, you can get ProRes RAW like the Panasonic S1H or even the Zcam. These are things that I think would really help the overheating issues that we are experiencing right now. Lastly, I think that they can tone down the overheat control a bit because in my experience, the camera was always cool to the touch even when it stated that it overheated. I would love to be able to get the full record limit that Canon advertises, not 5 minutes of record time just because the camera was sitting for 45 minutes. So what do we learn, folks? Well, the EOS R5 is not an 8K high frame rate camera, at least not in practical use, but it's a damn good 4K camera. I would even say it's an improved version of the EOS R. You're gonna get full frame 4K. You're gonna get that nice touch display, which is slightly bigger, a better body design in my opinion, and even dual pixel autofocus too. But is that enough? Well, it's up to you guys to decide that. What about the R6 though? The R6 is a different animal, and I'm telling you right now, we have more content coming soon. So make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you guys don't miss out on that video. My name is Armando. Thanks again for watching, and you guys will catch me in the next one. Adios. All right, that was really, really hot. I think we're putting this camera to the ultimate test. I overheated myself. As you can see, I'm drenched. Yeah, the camera could not, we just couldn't record in 8K, so we had to default everything back to 4K all-eye just because it's just so hot that even if we let it rest for an hour, it still would not give us any record time. So yeah, that's that.